Words to remember. Chapter 6. General Anatomy and Physiology Part 3. Flashcards. Review over and over for best results. Tibialis anterior. Muscle that covers the front of the shin, bends the foot upward and inward. PERONEUS longus. Muscle that covers the outer side of the calf, inverts the foot and turns it outward. PERONEUS brevis. Muscle that originates on the lower surface of the fibula. It bends the foot down and out. GASTROCNEMIUS. Muscle attached to the lower rear surface of the heel and pulls the foot down. SOLEUS. Muscle that originates at the upper portion of the fibula and bends the foot down. FLEXOR DIGITORUM brevis. Muscle that flexes the toes and helps maintain balance while walking and standing. FLEXOR DIGITI MINIMI. Muscle that moves the little toe. ABDUCTOR HALLUCIS. Muscle that moves the big toe away from the other toes. ABDUCTOR DIGITI MINIMI. Muscle that separates the fingers and the toes. Neurology. Scientific study of the structure, function, and pathology of the nervous system. Nervous system. Body system that consists of the brain, spinal cord, and nerves, controls and coordinates all other systems of the body and makes them work harmoniously and efficiently. Central nervous system, CNS. Abbreviated CNS, consists of the brain, spinal cord, spinal nerves, and cranial nerves. Peripheral nervous system, PNS. Abbreviated PNS, system of nerves that connects the peripheral, outer, parts of the body to the central nervous system. It has both sensory and motor nerves. Autonomic nervous system, ANS. Abbreviated ANS, the part of the nervous system that controls the involuntary muscles, regulates the action of the smooth muscles, glands, blood vessels, heart, and breathing. Brain. Part of the central nervous system contained in the cranium. It is the largest and most complex nerve tissue and controls sensation, muscles, activity of glands, and the power to think, sense, and feel. Spinal cord. Portion of the central nervous system that originates in the brain and extends down to the lower extremity of the trunk. It is protected by the spinal column. Sensory nerves. Also known as afferent nerves, afferent nerves. Carry impulses or messages from the sense organs to the brain, where sensations of touch, cold, heat, sight, sound, taste, smell, pain, and pressure are experienced. Nerves. Whitish cords made up of bundles of nerve fibers held together by connective tissue, through which impulses are transmitted. Motor nerves. Also known as efferent nerves, carry impulses from the brain to the muscles or glands. Reflex. Automatic reaction to a stimulus that involves the movement of an impulse from a sensory receptor along the sensory nerve to the spinal cord. Fifth cranial nerve. Also known as trifacial nerve or trigeminal nerve, the chief sensory nerve of the face that serves as the motor nerve of the muscles that control chewing. Ophthalmic nerve. Branch of the fifth cranial nerve that supplies impulses to the skin of the forehead, upper eyelids, and interior portion of the scalp, orbit, eyeball, and nasal passage. Mandibular nerve. Affects the muscles of the chin, lower lip, and external ear. Seventh cranial nerve. Also known as facial nerve, is the chief motor nerve of the face. Its divisions and their branches supply and control all the muscles of facial expression. It emerges near the lower part of the ear and extends to the muscles of the neck. Maxillary nerve. Branch of the fifth cranial nerve that supplies impulses to the upper part of the face. Posterior auricular nerve. Branch of the seventh cranial nerve that affects the muscles behind the ear at the base of the skull. Buccal nerve. Branch of the 7th cranial nerve that affects the muscles of the mouth. Temporal nerve. Branch of the 7th cranial nerve that affects the muscles of the temple, side of the forehead, eyebrow, eyelid, and upper part of the cheek. Marginal mandibular nerve. Branch of the 7th cranial nerve that affects the muscles of the chin and lower lip. 11th cranial nerve. Also known as accessory nerve, a motor nerve that controls the motion of the neck and shoulder muscles. Cervical nerves. Branches of the 7th cranial nerve, originate at the spinal cord and affect the side of the neck and the platysma muscle. Digital nerve. Sensory motor nerve that, with its branches, supplies impulses to the fingers. Radial nerve. Sensory motor nerve that, with its branches, supplies the thumb side of the arm and back of the hand. Median nerve. Sensory motor nerve that is smaller than the ulnar and radial nerves and that, with its branches, supplies the arm and hand. Sciatic nerve. Largest and longest nerve in the body, it passes through the gluteal region into the thigh, where it branches into smaller nerves. Pain from injury or compression of the sciatic nerve can radiate throughout the abdomen and be sensed in the lower back, hip, or lower abdomen. Ulnar nerve. Sensory motor nerve that, with its branches, affects the little finger side of the arm and palm of the hand. Common peroneal nerve. A division of the sciatic nerve that extends from behind the knee to wind around the head of the fibula to the front of the leg where it divides into two branches. Tibial nerve. A division of the sciatic nerve that passes behind the knee. It subdivides and supplies impulses to the knee, the muscles of the calf, the skin of the leg, and the sole, heel, and underside of the toes. Deep peroneal nerve. Also known as anterior tibial nerve, it extends down the front of the leg, behind the muscles. It supplies impulses to these muscles and also to the muscles and skin on the top of the foot and adjacent sides of the first and second toes. Dorsal nerve. Also known as dorsal cutaneous nerve. A nerve that extends up from the toes and foot, just under the skin, supplying impulses to toes and foot, as well as the muscles and skin of the leg, where it becomes the superficial peroneal nerve. Superficial peroneal nerve. Also known as musculocutaneous nerve, musculocutaneous nerve. Extends down the leg, just under the skin, supplying impulses to the muscles and the skin of the leg, as well as to the skin and toes on the top of the foot, where it becomes the dorsal nerve. Saphenous nerve. Nerve of the leg that supplies impulses to the skin of the inner side of the leg and foot. Sural nerve. Nerve of the lower leg that supplies impulses to the skin on the outer side and back of the foot and leg. Heart. Muscular, cone-shaped organ that keeps the blood moving within the circulatory system. Circulatory system. Also known as cardiovascular system or vascular system, the body system that controls the steady circulation of the blood through the body by means of the heart and blood vessels. Pulmonary circulation. The system that takes deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs for oxygenation and waste removal and then returns that blood to the heart, left atrium, so oxygen-rich blood can be delivered to the body. Thank you. Next chapter. 6 General Anatomy and Physiology Part 4.